Primary School and various universities before attaining his master's degree in from Kenyatta University on Community Development and Organization. Honorable Speaker, in 2017, he declared his interest to vie for the parliamentary seat of Ainabko constituency. During nominations, he sought the seat under the Jubilee Party ticket. He won elections as an independent member of parliament in the elections that were held in 2017. And Mr. Speaker, for the record, he defeated this member of parliament who is now reading the statement. Nonetheless, Mr. Speaker, as a member of parliament, he sponsored a number of bills, including one, the Coffee Bill, Senate Bills number 22 of 2020, two, the Natural Resources Benefit Sharing Bill, Senate Bill number 25 of 2020, the Health Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 26 of 2020, the Basic Education Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 4 of 2021, the Kenya Sign Language Bill, Senate Bills number 5 of 2011, the County Vocational Education and Training Bill, Senate Bill number 6 of 2021. Apart from being an MP, Mr. Speaker, he was also the Vice Chairman of the Special Funds Accounts Committee and a member of Committee on Appointments. In 1997 to 2003, Mr. Speaker, he had a senior position at the Office of the President. He also worked as the long-serving personal assistant and private secretary to the late Honorable Nicholas Biwott, who was a very powerful minister during the Kanu era, Mr. Speaker. I wish to, on behalf of the great people of Ainabko constituency, and indeed on my own behalf, convey our sincere condolences to his family, friends, and the people of the larger Uasin for this great loss. Honorable Speaker, with your indulgence, I request that you will allow that we all stand to observe a minute of silence in honor of the departed, the late Honorable William Chirchir Chepkut. Fare thee well, Honorable Chepkut. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Order, honorable members. In honor of our departed colleague and friend, I order that we stand and observe a minute's silence. Thank you. Next order.
Order number 9. Debate on the motion. Debate on the address by the President. Fourth and last allotted day.
Yes, Honorable Ngeno.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. I thought, Mr. Speaker, with your indulgence, we should have allowed members to at least convey their condolences, Mr. Speaker.
We have already moved to the next order. You showed no indication that you wanted to say anything.
I was already on a point of order, Mr. Speaker, and he is assisting member.
I will get the Honorable Deputy Speaker to give you 15 minutes to make brief comments. Remember, we have a scheduled matter that should be debated and interrupted. But this is an extraordinary matter, and I will allow 15 minutes of 3-3 on either side to make comments and eulogize our departed friend.
Member for Garissa.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, let me, on behalf of the people of Garissa, and on my own behalf, send my condolences to the family, friends of the former Member of Parliament for Ainab Koi, the Honorable Chepkut. Chepkut was with us in the 12th Parliament. We will remember him. He was a very humorous man, but I'm sure the person who will miss him most is the former president, Uhuru Kenyatta, because there was no one time that Chepkut will get an opportunity on the floor of the House and he will fail to remember the then Commander-in-Chief of the Kenyan Defense Forces, a five-star general. He used to say the five-star general. But this man, who today we are remembering, has a very long history. This is another total man. This is a man who worked with Nicholas Biwott for many years. And as he goes down, and as we bury him next Tuesday, he's going down with a lot of experience. He was a man who could pick a call. If you want to speak to Mzee Moi, let Mzee Moi. And one day, Madam Speaker, he told me, do you want to speak to Mzee Moi? And I thought he was joking. And he picked a call, and in 1 second, I was on the other line with Mzee Moi. That's how powerful Chepkut was. So, Madam Speaker, I am sure among the many, many other great leaders of this House we have lost, let me ask all members that in good faith through Honorable Chepkonga, we contribute, those who can, and we attend his burial on Tuesday next week in remembrance of him and the people he represented. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable members, those who want to speak on eulogizing Honorable Chepkonga, or Chepkut, sorry. My apologies. My apologies. Yes, I think then you should put the intervention button so that we don't interfere with the debate time. So I think now we'll have the Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah, Leader of Majority.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Maybe just before we retreat for House business, let me take this opportunity also on behalf of the people of Kikuyu and many other Kenyans who knew the late Honorable Chepkut, convey our very heartfelt condolences to his immediate family and the people of Ainab Koi constituency. Honorable Speaker, as the ranking member, the Honorable Aden Duale, has said, the Honorable Chepkut had his usual seat on the front bench here, just right where the Honorable Dr. Mutunga is seated. And we all remember him from his humor. Honorable Speaker, every time he stood up to speak in this chamber, he had to refer to His Excellency, the President, who is the Commander-in-Chief and a five-star general. And Honorable Speaker, many of us found humor in his speech. And he was indeed a very amiable person with everybody, a friend to everybody across the political divide. I do not think there is anybody who worked with the Honorable Chepkut in the last parliament who would say that he ever stepped on his toes in any way. A very amiable person, a likable character, and a seasoned civil servant who served not just as a district officer in the early Kanu days, but also served as a personal assistant to the late Honorable Biwott. And with those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, let us all pray for his family and pray that his soul may rest in eternal peace. Thank you.
Honorable members, I will give member from Mbeere North.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you for the opportunity to address the House for the first time. Madam Speaker, I trying to be Member of Parliament for Beira North, but I failed in 2013 and 2017. So for me, this is a dream that come true. And for this, I'm grateful and humbled by the trust for the people of Beira have bestowed upon me. I undertake, Madam Speaker, to serve both those who fought for me and those who did not vote for me. Madam Speaker,
The time is...
I am arrived of the functions.
Honorable Member from Bere, you're actually going to your maiden speech. You should have focused yourself on eulogizing the Honorable Chepkut.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, I'm arrived to the functions of the House, namely to represent the electorate and to registrate and to oversight the executive. Madam Speaker,
Honorable Member, maybe you can leave the rest of the time and then you will come back to make your maiden speech after. Yes. So now we can go to Member for Mgwen.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. On behalf of Mgwenians and myself, I want to pass my message of condolence for the loss of former member of this House, Honorable Chepkut. I want to ask every member in this House for the support that they may need. Let's generously give so that we can allow Chepkut, we can give him a decent send-off. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Just hold on a moment. Honorable Member for Mwingi Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to eulogize our colleague and friend, the Honorable late William Chepkut, the Member of Parliament, former Member of Parliament for Ainambokoi. Madam Speaker, I recall the late as a very humorous person. He was the smartest person in this house, always in a three-piece suit and very humorous. And I therefore, on behalf of myself, my family, and the people of Mwingi Central, wish to condole the family of the late and the constituency for the loss of this humorous and a very good person. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Member for Kimilili.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to eulogize my friend, the former Member of Parliament for Ainambokoi constituency. And I may say that we will remember Chepkut as being a very generous man. This is a man who was willing to share the little that he had to the people who are disadvantaged, Madam Speaker. And also, we will remember him as a hands-on person. This is a Member of Parliament whom, when there is a matter that affects his electorates, he will call even a government officer responsible and put that government officer on speaker. He was a hands-on man, and I think even as he passes on and we celebrate his life, I think there is a lot of things that we must learn from Honorable Chepkut, and may the Almighty God rest his soul in eternal peace and continue to stand with the people of Anapkoi constituency. I thank you.
I think the time is up. We've got 4 more minutes. 4 more minutes. Yes. The member for Seme.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me opportunity to eulogize our colleague. On behalf of the people of Seme, on behalf of myself, take this opportunity to pass my sincere condolences to his family and his constituency. Madam Speaker, though hilarious and humorous, this was an extremely serious man. I know that, Madam Speaker, because when I was in the executive, we worked with him. And behind all that humor, he was a serious, hard-working person. But I also appreciate that in this House, regardless of how tense things were, how much we differed, when he took to the floor, actually everybody listened, and with his humor, he put everybody at peace, but managed in a way to pass his message, and very diligently and in support of the people that elected him and in the service of those people. Let the Almighty God rest his soul in eternal peace.
Member for Kabuchai.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, allowing me to eulogize with my good friend. Madam Speaker, this is the person I saw throughout his life. Whenever he was on phone or addressing anybody, he never missed the word sir or madam. This is a man, Madam Speaker, who gave respect to anybody that he ever called. Madam Speaker, I come together to eulogize with the House. This Cecil, good friend of ours, he has left us. Madam Speaker, you are not wrong, because when you talked of Chepkonga, the name go almost the same with the area MP. Thank you, Madam Speaker. May God rest his soul in eternal peace. Thank you.
Member for Vihiga County.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to take this opportunity to pass our condolences to the people of Vihiga County and myself to the family of the late William, who was a former member of Parliament who used to sit with us here. He was very humorous. He used to make us laugh. Wherever you meet him, he was always laughing. As a Parliament, we are going to miss his humorous way of talking, and he never used to segregate people. He used to laugh with everybody. We are now condoling with the family and asking God to give them strength at this trying moment as they mourn their departed father, brother, and uncle. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I think now we can revert back to the motion and on the remarks on the President's speech, and we will pick from where we left off last time. I don't have the name of the member of the county, but it is Honorable Abdikadir Muhammad. I think was interrupted at that last. You may proceed.
Opportunity. Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute to the President's speech. First of all, I wish to thank my constituents, Lagdera constituency, for electing me to represent them in the 13th Parliament. Madam Speaker, I also wish to congratulate you for having elected to be the Speaker, for having elected to be the Speaker of this House, Deputy Speaker of this House. Madam Speaker, if I go straight to the President's speech, the President's speech on paragraph 48 spoke. The President on paragraph 48 said that we wish, on the ongoing drought in northern Kenya or the entire country, the President said that it is climate change is the problem for all this. But he also said we have to invest in, for climate change to change, we have to, okay, the President talked about the drought in northern Kenya, and he said he's going to, the government will distribute relief food. Madam Speaker, I think the President did not give this matter the seriousness it needed. In northern Kenya, already animals are dying, people are dying. We don't want only relief food. What we need in northern Kenya is, the 3.5 million Kenyans, what they need is some other interventions. An example, the dying animals need feed. The government should distribute also animal feeds. The government also should do water tracking. We need so many other things, so as to protect the livelihood of these people. Madam Speaker, also the President, while speaking on the universal health care, said that he will restructure NHIF. I think NHIF has been over-restructured. Every other time I've been employee of NHIF for 10 years, it has been over-restructured. It doesn't need to be structured again. I think as it is now, it can handle the issues of UHC. Also, Madam Speaker, there's also a problem of insecurity in northern Kenya. Whenever there's a drought, there's always clashes on pastures, always clash on pasture. So the government also should address this particular time when there's a drought in this northern Kenya. The government also should address the issue of security in this area. Madam Speaker, I wish to thank you for giving this opportunity. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you. The member has donated more time for the next members. I hope everyone can do that. It's now the time for MP from Mbeere North.
Madam Speaker, thank you for this opportunity to address the House for the first time. I tried to be member from Mbeere North, but failed in 2013 and 2017. So for me, this is a dream come true. And it's for this I'm grateful to and humbled by the trust the people of Mbeere North have bestowed upon me. I take to serve both those who voted for me and those who did not vote for me. Madam Speaker, I'm arrived to the functions of the House, namely to represent the electorate, to legislate, and to oversight the executive. I am happy that in the inaugural address to this House by the President was emphatic that he expects registration and oversight from the House. Madam Speaker, to achieve the purpose of the House and in order to serve the aspiration of the country, I will urge that we work and look at the bills, motions, proposals, that come before us for considerations and approval. I say so because there is no Kenya Kwanza country and an Ansmio country. And any bad rules from the House or no rules come out of this House, the effect thereof will be felt in equal measures by the entire country. Madam Speaker, for His Excellency the President to succeed in his vision for this country, we will need to make robust and enabling laws and also ensure the implementation by all. I will therefore urge, Madam Speaker, to ensure that the drafters in the House are efficient, to ensure speedy drafting of the bills. I would also propose the drafters to be around to invite sectoral experts in order to enrich and ensure quality bills. Madam Speaker, as a House, we need to vacate from criminalization of administrative functions and processes. I say so because in the recent past, public officers have become overly ineffective as a result of criminalization of every process in their professional functions. As a result, DCI, EACC, KERA, among other, now preoccupy themselves with hiring to court public officers for the minor administrative missteps. And that's why, Madam Speaker, I will be proposing an amendment on the Public Procurement Act of 2015. Madam Speaker, this House needs to give impetus to technology, innovation, and sustainability. It is in the approach of the registration and solutions to the challenge in the society, I will urge that the House will prioritize making laws that anchor technology as a solution to the challenges that we face as a country. The issue of climate change is a reality, Madam Speaker, and I will also urge this House to consider climate financing to be well framework which climate financing can enable especially the marginalized communities in this country. I look forward to serving the country in my new capacity, and I thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Member from Beira North, you are also quite brief. It means many of our colleagues will have an opportunity to speak. I now call the nominated member, Honorable John Badi.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, let me start by congratulating you for being elected as Deputy Speaker of this House. Last time I made my contribution, I congratulated the Speaker, but I had not congratulated you. I have no doubt in my mind that you lead this House and conduct the affairs of this House diligently and objectively. And I hope that the 4 members who are also going to constitute the chairman's panel will get members with experience and ability to help you run the House. Having said that, Madam Speaker, allow me to make my contributions to the speech of the President. First, I want to state that this House has a collective responsibility to oversight and hold the executive to account as a unit. But I'm also alive to the fact that this side of the House, the minority side, or the opposition that it used to be called, has an extra responsibility to even hold the executive to account much more. I am sure that we are not going to provide parochial opposition. We are going to provide an objective opposition. We will support government policies that are geared towards helping better the lives of Kenyans, and only oppose those policies which would make us roll back on the gains that this country has made so far. So you expect a robust opposition from us, an opposition that is informed with objectivity and helping the country to move forward. Madam Speaker, President Ruto is taking over a country that is so divided, a country that is divided right down in the middle, a country where 50% or near 50% voted for him, and another 50% or near 50% did not vote for him. This is a country that requires real symbol of national unity. I am happy that the President did indicate in his speech that he's going to run a united country, that service delivery is going to be given to all Kenyans in equal measure, regardless of where you voted, because we are all taxpayers. And that is something that needs to be lauded. And so now what we are waiting for is action. Madam Speaker, the only thing that I would have requested or asked is of the Deputy President to also follow what the President has said. I was a bit disturbed when the news came out that the Deputy President said something to the effect that it is their turn to eat. I hope he was misquoted. Madam Speaker, public appointments belong to Kenyans. Public appointments, whether position of permanent or principal secretaries, those positions are positions in the public and civil service and are not supposed to be used as a reward for political support. Those positions belong to all of us, whether you voted Azimio or you voted Kenya Kwanza. And how I wish that the Deputy President understood that. So, Madam Speaker, we expect the Public Service Commission to be impartial and not to be a subject or a victim of state capture. Having said that, Madam Speaker, something that worries me a lot is that however short or brief the speech of the President was, but I expected at least a line on devolution. If the President could remember National Government Constituency Development Fund, which I support as a very progressive fund, then I wonder how he could forget to mention something on devolution. He even spoke about the Senate Oversight Fund, but did not say a thing on devolution. If there is one thing that has changed the architecture of governance in this country, it is devolution from 2013. And this is something that should always find a space in the speech of a President of the Republic of Kenya. So I hope, because he was summarizing his speech, probably it was left among the very many volumes that I saw he did not read. I could see that the President read a portion of his speech and decided to leave others. And being an intelligent man, he must have summarized it in a way that we couldn't even notice that he left out some. I just want to assume that devolution was part of the rest of his speech. Because if it is not, then it would worry me. The President talked a lot about economy in his short speech, and even proposed that he would start by cutting our budget by about 300 billion shillings. I thought that was a bit ambitious, but I'm waiting to see through the supplementary budget what the Treasury has for us to actualize the pronouncements by the President. However, I don't think the solution is on the quantum of the budget as such. or the cutting down of the budget as such. To me, I think we should focus as a country on misuse of resources, on governance issues, and look at the fiscal discipline in this country, what you can call corruption. And Madam Speaker, I don't understand why the President is finding it so hard to call corruption corruption. I rarely hear my President talks about corruption. He will always cut corners and use language that is close to corruption, but he will not call it corruption. I would want President William Ruto to call corruption corruption. If there is one thing that he should disobey his policy of bottom up, it is on corruption. This one must be top down. This must be fought top down. You can't fight it bottom up. This one you must fight top down. The president, who is the head of this country, must come out forthrightly, forcefully, and call corruption corruption, and make life unbearable for those who are corrupt. These are the people who are making our budget be inflated. These are the same people who are making this country lack resources to be able to implement the projects that we should implement. And Madam Speaker, I want to just advise the executive, if they can take my advice, the time is running out. Honeymoon is over. Today, it is exactly 30 days since they were sworn in office. And the deputy president is still talking over here. He doesn't believe. If you don't believe and Kenyans are expecting services, what do you want us to do? Please believe and start delivering services. We want the cost of living to come down, the price of fuel to come down, and don't now talk about Ukraine war. During campaigns, you said Ukraine war has nothing to do with this. Now we are joining you in cheering that Ukraine is very far from Kenya. We want the price of fuel, petroleum products to come down. The price of unga must come down to 80 shillings as we were promised. There is no more time to move around. My president, now you have already sold yourself as a Kenyan leader internationally. We now want you here, back home, and sit, and very soon we are going to give you your cabinet. Once you have that cabinet, please perform. Kenyans don't want any more wastage of time because the economy is down. That is a fact, we all agree, but we will support you to make sure that this economy is resuscitated only with good policies. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. And now I call the ranking member for Garissa constituency.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I will not take a lot of time in contributing to the speech of my president. And I've done it 3 times. I contributed to the main speech of President Kibaki, President Uhuru Kenyatta, and now to the only president and a friend of mine, President William Ruto. And Mr. Speaker, for the first time, his speech was, I think, 1 hour. Members who were here last time, you remember President Uhuru former president left his speech halfway and even threw it here. I think he left it at the speaker's place. Because those who write speech, you don't allow the president to repeat. So President Ruto did not repeat what he said at his inauguration. He didn't repeat what he said at the UN General Assembly. He didn't repeat what he said yesterday. He will say what is there today. And I think his key areas to pick was to make sure that the Big Four agenda in the plan are implemented. Universal health care for every Kenyan. Housing, and all these housing, affordable, cheap housing, every Kenyan to live in a decent house, turn the payment of rent into ownership of houses. Thirdly, to make sure Kenya is food secure. And even before his cabinet sits, he reduced, first promises, the prices of fertilizer. He's dealing with the drought as we speak today. He appointed the 6 judges who the Constitution allowed, but because of impunity, the former president refused. He called Safaricom and told them, we know the owners of Fuliza. Reduced Fuliza by 80%. In 30 days, Honorable Bandi, a ranking member, what President William Ruto has done, other presidents have not done in 2 years. And for corruption, watch his space. If you were involved in KEMSA, if you have a file, whether you belong to Kenya Kwanza, whether you belong to the opposition, he categorically said he will empower and support financially the oversight independent institutions which for 5 years were captured by the state mandarins. The office of the DPP, EACC, Auditor General, Honorable Wandai said, I served as a member of the Public Accounts Committee. The controller of budget was harassed by the Minister for Finance. The Inspector General of Police, today, if there is an incident in any constituency, he has the capacity and the financial muscle to do his operational without any hindrance. All these were done within 30 days. If William Ruto will either be, President William Ruto will be either like President Kibaki, who left us with a debt of 1.8 trillion, or he will be better. And I am one person who believes if Kenya will not change under the leadership of the chief hustler, it will never change. There is optimism. There is a lot of excitement in the region and in Africa. Never have you seen 21 presidents coming for an inauguration. There used to be a handful of 10, 15. Kenya is a hub, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we have a young, energetic, sober president. A president who only takes tea, like me. He only takes tea. A good listener. A president who believes in the unity of people. Check, since he was in ODM, URP, Jubilee, and UDA, he has never appointed any of his relatives to this house. Compare, he appointed, his party has been appointing the marginalized, women, person who listens to women. Let us judge William Ruto in a very fair way, even if you're in opposition. And today I'm very happy. My colleague, the ranking member, has really confirmed to all and sundry that he has taken his place in the minority and in the opposition. This country needs an effective and robust opposition. It was not there last time. Last time we do know who was government. The opposition, you know, that handshake killed this country. It gave us extra 7 trillion. 7 trillion. And that is why we need to reconfigure the budget. And even this house, the budget of the Parliament Service Commission must be ready to be slashed. And we must not rush to the Chinese loans anymore. We must borrow, if we have to borrow. We must borrow from the multilaterals that will give us cheaper rates at 3%, longer period. We don't want these Chinese who come, and they come with their companies, Kenyans lose, they offload their population. Imagine a Chinese truck driver in a construction site. This house must rise to the occasion. And those of us who will, if the house approves me, we will not allow Kenya's place to be occupied by foreigners. Dear colleagues, and because majority are new, I really want to ask you, please make laws that will help our country. Even when government bring laws, scrutinize them. You know, the last 4 years, and I think now everybody knows the deep state and the what were they called, the system. Those are fallacy. Even I'm sure if the chief is no longer a deep state. The county commissioner has realized he is not a deep state. The DPP could not work. He was told, choose which file to take to court. The EACC, there was gun on the head. Look for the file of Eden Duale and don't take this one. The judiciary was marshaled. The controller of budget could not say that counties has overshoot their recurrent expenditure. Our counties are employing 50–60% outside the PFM requirement of 35. Honorable Bandi and team, you will watch from TV the way this country will change. I have no doubt. I have no doubt. You know, Honorable Kiraitu Murungi in 2002 said, President Moi, go home and buy a TV. I am telling you, buy a TV. May God give you more years to live, and watch how William Samoei Arap Ruto will transform this country. Please, buy a TV. Debt level will come down. In 30 days, Honorable Mbandi and the rest, in 30 days, we have stopped subsidy of petroleum products. No, I am not a minister. I am a member for Garissa Township. Madam Speaker, you need to protect me. I am the member, and I want to thank the people of Garissa Township. They elected me 4 times in 4 different political parties. ODM, URP, Jubilee, and now in UDA. That tells you they have the confidence in the leadership, and all that I moved with William Ruto. They were telling me, go with William Ruto. He took me to ODM. He took me to URP. He took me, but I didn't mind because I was a pastoralist. Madam Speaker, I am so happy that what I said many years ago, that I will retire from politics when William Ruto in the State House. That dream has been achieved, and God bless Kenya. God bless the government of William Ruto, and I hope this House will provide the leadership. I know we have a very vibrant opposition. We have got very good leaders on the other side. Let us all work together to protect the interest of our people. And thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. We'll now have member for Konoin, will be followed by member for Nandi County, and then member for Matungu, so that you can be ready. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. First of all, I would like to thank the people of Konoin for giving me a second chance and voting me for the second time to be in this House and to represent their interests. I would also like to appreciate the people of Kenya for voting in President William Samoei Ruto and his deputy, Rigathi Gachagua, and also congratulate you and our Speaker for being elected in the House to serve in this Parliament. Madam Speaker, in the President's speech, he captured a number of fundamental issues that are in the plan or the Kenya Kwanza Manifesto. One of it is food, nutrition, and security. The mission to scale production in agriculture while creating jobs is one of the fundamental issues that was mentioned, and Konoin constituency being one of the constituencies that depend on tea. Actually, 80% of our of farming activities in Konoin constituency is revolving around tea. And, Madam Speaker, the fertilizer subsidy to lower cost of production is welcomed, and it will serve our people and improve in regards to production of tea. Madam Speaker, in my constituency, we also have multinational companies that are covering almost 1/3 of the constituency. That is the Unilever Tea, James Finlay, and Williamson Tea. In the spirit of employment that is born through agricultural production, these multinationals have exhibited some misbehavior and bad manners, and they've actually sent home more than 15,000 employees through forced voluntary early retirement, through redundancy, through disciplinary dismissal, and this has actually rendered very many of my constituents jobless due to the proliferation of machines that have been introduced. And this has done more harm than good. Madam Speaker, we need to call upon these multinational companies to be able to exercise and balance between mechanization, profit, and employment, so that our people, as much as we appreciate mechanization, the multinational must also appreciate that the only benefit that we get from them is actually employment. And when they are no longer employing our people, then they will have outlived their usefulness. Madam Speaker, I'm calling upon this multinational to rethink in the lines of balancing between mechanization, profit, and employment, so that we can get as many people as possible employed in the multinational companies. Madam Speaker, President emphasized on the ASLA fund, and this is actually to support small and medium enterprises through affordable credit, and also so that the small and medium enterprises can expand their businesses, so that the Mamamboga, the Kinyozi, the boda industry can actually thrive and expand in regards to the bottom-up model. Madam Speaker, the President also talked about matters water. And he talked about raising target of access to water from the current 60% to 80%. In my constituency, there was a water project called Boster Water Project. And this water project was to serve 5 constituencies, 4 constituencies in Bomet and 1 constituency in Kericho County. So far, the project has been funded by Chinese Exim Bank. But the previous regime sabotaged this project for political reason. In the spirit of raising the target of water from 60 to 80%, we hope and we pray and we beseech this government to actually jumpstart this particular project, because the money is still lying in the treasury, so that this project, Boster Water Project, can start as quick as possible, so that we can get access to clean running tap water. Madam Speaker, there is the NHIF, which the President spoke about, and this actually NHIF should be restructured to enable it become fit for the purpose of social insurance scheme that caters for all, including the chronic illnesses. Madam Speaker, this NHIF should cater for terminal diseases like cancer, as this disease has actually drained many families from the resources. Many families have sold their land and property to pay for hospital bills. And since this government of Kenya Kwanza has promised to align and restructure the NHIF, we are really appreciating it, and we say that is a plausible initiative. Madam Speaker, the President also talked about the NGCDF, and he said any NGCDF should be aligned to the Constitution, and because it has impacted a lot in our societies. The bursaries that we give to the orphans, the vulnerable in the society, has actually helped them to achieve their goals. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. God bless Kenya.
Thank you. Member for Nandi County.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I stand today privileged to be part of the 13th Parliament. Honorable Speaker, this privilege and honor has been bestowed upon me by the great people of Nandi, and I want to pass my sincere gratitude to them for having seen value in me, for having voted for me overwhelmingly on 9th of August to come to this House. Honorable Speaker, I want to say to the people of Nandi that I'm indebted to them, and I will ensure that I serve them selflessly, and I will ensure that I pay back whatever they did on 9th of August by ensuring that I give responsive and responsible leadership. Honorable Speaker, I want to say that my voice is their voice in this House. I shall speak for every child in Nandi County. I shall speak for every girl who needs encouragement. I'll speak for every woman who needs a shoulder to lean on. And I'll speak for every group that is special, and every boy and man who is trying to find a footing in their life, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, that said, I want to say that, of course, I'm a new honorable member in this House, and I want to say that my name is Cynthia Muge. I was born and bred in Nandi, probably for Nandi and this country at large. Honorable Speaker, I am a daughter, I am a wife, and I am a mother, and that all in one complete package, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, by training, I'm a physical planner, trained and educated in the University of Nairobi, with a bachelor's and with a master's degree also, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, every person would be wondering that how did this person end up in this House? Honorable Speaker, my political journey started 5 years ago in 2017 when I was a young, small girl, a tiny girl who would pass for a uniformed Form 2 girl. Honorable Speaker, I went into the murky waters of politics and actually ran for the position of Member of County Assembly. I ran, and I thank God I was given the opportunity to serve the people of Kilibwani, and I want to say thank you to those the great people of Kilibwani. It is the star and the seed that they planted in 2017, Honorable Speaker, that has eventually grown leaves, very broad leaves, Honorable Speaker, that today cover the whole county. I want to say thank you to those great people, Honorable Speaker. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, the easiest part is done. The easiest part was to be elected, and now the hardest part begins, Honorable Speaker. And I want to say this. The responsibility that has been given to me and before me is no joke, Honorable Speaker. It is enormous. But I want to say that in my village, I come from the same village, Honorable Speaker, where Chelagat Mutai, who was elected to this august House at 24 years of age. Chelagat Mutai, Honorable Speaker, did a great job in this House. She is the person who stood for the people and fought for the land rights of the people. And the people of Uasin Gishu then were able to get lands, Honorable Speaker. And I want to say that the shoe that Chelagat Mutai, I cannot fit in it, Honorable Speaker, so to speak, because it was actually shoed at a different point in life, in a different era, where things were done differently. But Honorable Speaker, I want to say I will take her lesson seriously so that I can be able to shoe my shoe size going forward, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to say that in this House, I hope to be able to speak up. In this House, Honorable Speaker, I hope to be able to play my constitutional role. In this House, Honorable Speaker, I hope to be the representative of the people, so that the people that I represent and the Kenyans at large, Honorable Speaker, are able to see value for their money and every coin that they have in this government. Of course, Honorable Speaker, with the assurance of the President that his administration will be able to rely on the oversight of this Assembly, I want to say that I shall play that role without demonization of checks and balances. Honorable Speaker, I hope that through me and through this House, Kenya Kwanza is able to implement the plan, and the people of Kenya are able to get the promises that were made to Kenya, to the country at large, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, just to say a few words about the President's speech that he made last week, Honorable Speaker, I want to say that for the first time, we have a president who is careful and detailed. He is a president who remembered to count the number of women who are elected to this House. He is a president who remembered the number of members that came back to this House, Honorable Speaker. And that tells you a lot about him, Honorable Speaker. He is a president whom, during his campaign trail, he has spoken about economy. He is keen on ensuring that the economy of this country is back to where it was and where it was left by Kibaki, and even better. Honorable Speaker, I remember that he spoke about healthcare. Honorable Speaker, it should be noted that any person who speaks about savings is a futuristic person, is a person who looks into the future and actually wants to ensure that that future comes and it will be enjoyed by everyone. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to say that the President also, of course, spoke to the Hustler Fund, spoke to taxation issues, and was able to speak to the housing issues which are affecting the people of Kenya. I want to say, Honorable Speaker, that that particular speech, as much as many honorable members have said that it was short, I want to say that every person who has the story header has the story in full. So I want everyone to know that the President, of course, he was trying to be brief and not to be boring, but he has the content and the detailed and the plan and the roadmap to ensuring that this happens, Honorable Speaker, in this country. And I hope all the honorable members in this House will be instrumental during their representation role, their oversight role, and their legislation role to ensure that the President delivers. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you and thank the honorable members of this House and the great people of Nandi for according me this golden opportunity to speak in this House as a representative. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Member for Nandi, for keeping time. I think now we call the honorable member for Matungu. Thereafter, we'll have the nominated member, Catherine Omayo, after.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this chance to address the 13th Parliament and to talk to the people of Matungu. Madam Speaker, I take this opportunity first to congratulate you for having been elected the Deputy Speaker of the 13th Parliament. And I also take this opportunity to congratulate my mentor and my friend, the Speaker, Moses Wetangula, for having been elected the Speaker of this House. Madam Speaker, I have a history with the Speaker, Wetangula, because he is my mentor politically. When I left my employment in Parliament, he is the first one who impressed me politically, campaigned for me, gave me a ticket in his party, and actually has mentored me up to this point in time. Madam Speaker, second, I want to take this opportunity to sincerely thank the people of Matungu for overwhelmingly voting for me 2 times strongly in 2 years. First in 2021 and second in 2022. That is a vote of confidence by the people of Matungu with me, and I embrace it, and I promise that I will work for the people of Matungu to make sure that I achieve what I promised them during the campaigns. Madam Speaker, let me take this opportunity to say a few words about what the President said in this House, the 13th Parliament. The President first, I allowed the President for acknowledging the fact that CDF is an important fund in the constituency's development. And he encouraged us and he told us that we can work out something to align that fund to the Constitution so that it works for the Member of Parliament and it works for the constituents that actually are the direct beneficiaries of that fund. And by any means and by all means, everybody understands that CDF is an important fund to the development of the constituency. Millions and millions of children have been educated through CDF, and a lot has been achieved through CDF. Unfortunately, it's only the judiciary that doesn't understand the importance of that fund. But that's a matter for another day. Madam Speaker, other than that, I want to register my disappointment because the President did not give any commitment about the revival of the sugar industry in the Western region, and more so, the revival of Mumias Sugar Company. I am a representative of the people of Matungu, and the people of Matungu are 100%. During those days, the people of Matungu 100% depended on Mumias Sugar Company. With the collapse of Mumias Sugar Company collapsed with the dreams and aspirations of the people of Matungu and Mumias at large. And it is very imperative that the government of the day has to give some importance to the revival of the sugar industry. It gives us sleepless nights. It actually saddens us when the government of the day decides to ignore the issue of Mumias Sugar Company. The issue of Mumias Sugar Company is a very thorny issue to us. The residents of Matungu are desperate. Mumias Sugar Company was only their livelihood. We depended on Mumias Sugar Company 100% to achieve all our dreams. But unfortunately, it collapsed. All efforts to revive the company actually stands on its feet